Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to our mini marathon for this week from 5th May to 8th May. So, today we have our esteemed guest in the show in Conversations at Crossroads, Shweta Ojha. But before we introduce her and bring her online, as a ritual, I would love to share something and start with it. We must value the things, big or small, we have because it's important in its own way, and every little thing has got some value for it. It's extremely easy to get influence and put our parents under pressure to fulfill our demands when we are young. But understanding the difference between the need and want becomes very critical. A need is something that is essential for us to survive. Everything else is a want. Similar to a situation right now during pandemic when only the essential things are working. None of the fancy restaurants, none of the fancy holidays, none of the fancy clothing that we want, and none of the fancy movies that we go out to see are essential for life. What is essential is our health, our well-being, and family together, breathing and having a happy, healthy life. So, hello everyone. This is Sagar Nani, your host and host for In Conversations at the Crossroads. So today we have guest Shweta Ojha. She's a very, very dear friend and also a co-host of LinkedIn Local Thane. I visited her LinkedIn Local and we had lots and lots of things to share, to learn, and to mingle about. She is a LinkedIn coach and a consultant. She strongly believes that a personal brand is not created by chance, but through a conscious and consistent effort. She enables professionals, SME owners, startups, freelancers, trainers, coaches, speakers to build their brand and grow, leveraging the power of LinkedIn. Because LinkedIn is a gold mine, and if you haven't dig it, do it now. She helps her clients not only to do personal branding but also achieve better visibility, expert in positioning, and create higher credibility and receive inbound leads. She's educated more than 10,000 individuals on leveraging LinkedIn platform and building business and personal brand. She's consulted more than 50 plus personal brandings and LinkedIn profile optimization and also helped them to generate LinkedIn leads. So put your hands together and let me welcome Shweta Ojha. Hi,
Hi,
Shweta. A very, very warm welcome and thank you for joining us.
thanks for having me. I never ever imagined, Sagar, that you would be, I was fascinating that I would come to one of the LinkedIn local Hyderabad someday and you would be, announcing me and I'd be coming to the podium and speaking, but something like this I'd not imagined.
Yeah, things change. Things change. So yeah, life changed. But yes, we have some amazing memories of LinkedIn Local Thane, the event that I came, and lots of fun we had. So before we get on with the show and having have conversation, why LinkedIn Local and what is your idea behind LinkedIn Local, and just share something about you and LinkedIn Local so people can have that connect built.
So, for the audience around, Sagar was also a LinkedIn local Hyderabad host, and so was I, a LinkedIn local Thane host, as Sagar mentioned. So, my journey of LinkedIn local actually started uh, me attending a LinkedIn local event in Pune. There's some echo, is it?
No, 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 it's perfectly fine.
Okay, so me attending the LinkedIn local event in Pune as part of my exercise of generating leads for my company. So I used to go around and attend a lot of networking events, and which is where I landed up in LinkedIn Local Pune. What I liked about the whole concept was it was not the quintessential, I do this and take my card kind of an event. It was people were interested in each other. People would want to connect on a human to human basis, and I just happened to overhear stories about how these connections actually, uh, percolated into something meaningful in terms of business. And what I also liked was it was an open playground. You don't need a membership, or you don't need to be from certain creed or crowd. So it was an amalgamation open playground for every community to blend in. And I found this missing in Thane, and I kind of liked this no agenda, genuine community building. So I started that in 2018. And yeah, we did some 14 odd offline events, and then 14th of March to 2020 I had slated, but I had to call it off because of the COVID striking in. And since then we've been on virtual events, many of them. Recently we also hosted a mega meetup with collaborating with 5 hosts. And yeah, so value add in terms of our community members, getting connected with them, reaching out to them in times of crisis. This is amazing. The power of community is amazing.
Yeah. So that's lovely for sharing with us, Shweta. And as we all know, all the co-host and the host in the community, let me also share three most core values that we all believe in.
Yeah.
People are worth meeting, stories are worth sharing, collaboration and not competition. And all the hosts globally are, very much into these core values started by Anna McAfee in Australia. And we still are connected as one good big community, and we enjoy that warmth that is created in that community. So thank you very much again, Shweta Ojha, for joining us and gracing this event. And now I'll be shooting some amazing good questions which I have for you. And before I do that, I would also share one more insight for all the viewers. This is like a mini marathon or a mini summit from 5th May to 8th of May, where we have four amazing dignitaries from four different domains and sharing their knowledge with us. So don't miss. And if you have missed, don't worry, it's available on YouTube. Yep. So moving on with the questions. What does crossroad mean to you, Shweta?
Crossroads mean to me that you have two or more definite paths, and and you have to choose which path you want to take. And the paths that you choose, there's no coming back. There's going further only. So it's not something that, it's an option that you would want to try. It's a path that you have to choose, you have to decide. And that's pretty much the crossroad that I understand.
Lovely, lovely. So when you talk about crossroads as a path, or you talk about crossroads is as a journey that everyone has to take, I'm sure things have been around you, and with your career, you would have seen such an amazing journey of your own life, of people around you, and would it be amazing for us and for you to share one story of your crossroads, of your journey, some incident that you would like to share with all of us?
Yeah, so uh, see, there are many crossroads that I have seen also in my life. Thankfully, nothing, a life and death scenario or a irreparable loss that I had to face. So, thankfully, by God's grace, nothing that challenging. But yes, you crossroads are for any person where it is going to redefine the whole journey, life journey. And for me, out of the many crossroads that I have encountered till now, the most difficult one, or the most challenging one, if I may say so, was me starting to work at the age of 41. Now, when I was approached by HR consulting firm to be part of their company and to handle the business development for their company. Honestly, I was shaken, for the simple reason that I didn't believe in myself. I was too comfortable in my homemaker comfort zone, and I think the जॉब वाला आइडिया इज गॉन नाउ ना. अब तो कैसे जॉब करेंगे, अब तो 20 साल हो गए होम मेकर होते हुए. तो आई एम लाइक आई एम नॉट क्वालिफाइड टू एवर बी अ करियर वुमन. I kind of had this in my head. And when these guys approached me, um, I said, okay, okay, interview पे जाते हैं, देखते हैं, because I have nothing to lose anyhow. I was not planning a career. And they spoke about their company, they spoke about the requirement, and I was like, okay, so I don't have a qualification. I'm qualified in banking and business finance way back. So again, that was more theory and nothing put into practice. And I was not qualified in sales. I was not qualified in HR, and I was hired to sell HR. And I was like, okay, uh, so do you guys understand? So they say, we are from HR background. We know, whom we are betting on. And that struck me that if somebody is seeing potential in me, why can't I give myself a chance? And so that thought actually helped me decide, because I was uh, really scared is not the right adjective, but I was worried that how a 24 into 7 homemaker can transform herself into a career woman, and would she be able to do justice to either the homemaking or the career. And all those thoughts were clouding my mind, and it took me a while to decide. But the decision was based on this fact that if somebody has seen a potential in you, somebody wants to bet on you, somebody wants to invest in you, why can't you invest in yourself?
Lovely.
So this was something that helped me decide. But one thing I would like to share, Saga, here is, whenever ever in my crossroads, ever in my lifetime that I faced crossroads, one thing is very common, that the path that you eventually choose is the most difficult one that you choose. You never choose an easy path. You never choose an easy path. So and if you're on the toughest path that you've chosen, be rest assured कि वो सबसे सही है. वो
Lovely.
आगे जाके आपको आपको सक्सेस देगा, या जो भी आप मतलब अचीव करना चाहते हैं, you would be able to do that. So that's a learning for me. So now whenever I face any crossroads, small or big, I know, okay, the difficult one is my choice.
Lovely, lovely. Very well said that अगर राह मुश्किल है तो जीत तय है. Very well said. And
Yeah.
yeah, go on. You wanted to share something.
No, nothing. So I've been. There were a lot of challenges when I started off. Like, for instance, I used to think in Hindi. I never used to, and I'm not an avid reader or any of those sorts. I'm a quintessential Marwadi homemaker. So again, imagining myself in that space, drafting my first corporate email, editing it 50 times, thinking that this is not intellectual enough, grammatically correct enough, and all of those thoughts, and same crossroads actually happened in 2020 when I started to I thought of starting my own, as an
Okay.
independent consultant. Because I thought, who would hire me, because I don't have that illustrious background, and I don't have that x years of experience, or x number of degrees. But I thought that I have an intent,
Yeah, it's
and I want to
absolutely.
create an impact, and let me just try once.
Yeah, and I mean, I have seen you in that journey, and we've been connected for past 3 years. And trust me, for every listener, she has done fabulously well. And there was no
Thank you.
doubt about she not doing well or she not performing well, because the amount of hard work that Shweta used to put in, the amount of integrity, the amount of commitment, the trust, and the perseverance that she had, absolutely, absolutely, hats off to you. Hats off to you. And as a part of being homemaker, or just about being a homemaker or talking about that, Shweta, I absolutely say that every homemaker is filled with tons and tons and tons of energy and passion, because this is something what Mansi wrote, which is
Yeah,
seven
she's written it
lessons,
wonderfully. Yeah.
seven lessons from
If
a
I had
homemaker.
read it earlier, I would not have thought about being a career woman. I would have been happy in that space.
So this book is a tribute to all the homemakers, because
Amazing book, guys. Go ahead and read it.
let me share one thing that I believe about homemakers, or I would love to share about homemakers. There's also a video that I've shared, and I call a homemaker as a CEO of the home. Reason why I call them that is they do material management, they do procurements, they also do quality control, customer service, and whatnot. And they also
Most
have
of the
their own.
time, most of the time firefighting.
Yeah. So most of the time firefighting, and above all, a homemaker is full of empathy. She's so full of empathy and love that that leadership itself is out of the world. And if anybody thinks that homemaker is an easy thing to do, take it up for 7 days and we'll talk again. So that's one of the most.
Most men, courtesy lockdown, have partially understood. Yeah.
Because
So
I
for home,
also believe, yeah, yeah, super
so for
homemakers.
home, yeah. So for homemakers, this lockdown has been a blessing in disguise of sorts. So they have been, if not
Absolutely,
participating, they've at least started empathizing.
absolutely, absolutely. No, because in my quality sessions, or whenever I'm training people about 5S, and 5S is a systematic thing to do, and the work and the right thing in the right place, and a Japanese methodology. Shweta, I believe that a woman and a homemaker, she's a master of 5S. With a small example, आप लोगों के किचन में एक मसाला का डब्बा होता है, right? And that is the prized possession of, be it my mom or you or your mom or any homemaker. And you guys keep it so neat and tidy, clean, filled up, and everything which is there in the dabba. You can close your eyes and you can just put it in there, and you exactly know. Even when you close your eyes, you'll know exactly. And if somebody dares go into the kitchen and change that location or change that placement, unki to shamat aa jayegi. So, I call them queen is because 5S is implemented by them in the kitchen right there. And, we go into organizations and we do like, shoot boot, and we talk about 5S. घर जाके देखो यार, आपकी माँ 5S की queen है. So salute to all the homemakers, and I have a huge respect for everybody who is a homemaker, because it's not an easy job. So
Thank
kudos
you.
to everyone. Absolutely, kudos to everyone. So when you're talking about your journey, and you started again, what were your feelings when you actually started? Apart from feeling that okay, I'm not able to deliver it, that was one side of it. But what was the strategy? What was your mindset? And what were you thinking of making it happen? Of course, dar to tha. Okay, you had that fear in the journey when when you're approached and when you were there. But I'm sure when you said yes, you also had some strategies, some mindset, something that helped you to be on that journey. So what was that?
So I tell you, Sagar, this is very innate of me. So whether trying marathon for the first time, or trekking for the first time, or even starting a job for the first time, I am more of a river person. That I just get into it and then figure out how to swim, and that's what exactly happens most of the time. But my strategy is only that I have when I start, I have to remain afloat, not drown. So I will do whatever it takes to remain afloat till I actually learn the tips and tricks of swimming well in that river. So this is pretty much that my strategy was when I started working. So uh, one thing was very clear in my head, that my home will always remain my priority. And it's not going to be priority 2 because I have joined a career. It will always remain priority 1. This was one. So my schedules, I used to make sure revolves around that. And obviously my home is also accustomed to a 24 into 7 mom availability, or a just making all three of them or four of them attuned to a different schedule was difficult, rather than me getting attuned to a balancing the two. Also, my organization helped me a lot in that. They gave me a lot of flexibility. My boss was my mentor. He still is my mentor. And one thing that एक example अब मैं share करूंगी. The first sales call that I went in my, so I was to sell HR outsourcing. So our target segment was business owners with at least 50 to 200 crore window. And I was like shivering in my it was really so I requested my mentor, please accompany me for the first sales call, at least I'll get. So then the conversation started, and obviously the prospect asked us who are my background, his background. And when he asked my background, I kind of apologetically was saying that, okay, I've just started, I was a homemaker, that way I introduced myself. And when we got out of the meeting, my mentor literally was, you know, upset is an understatement. And he said that you are never ever going to introduce yourself like that. And as you mentioned earlier, Sagar, he told the same thing. You have to tell that I have 18 plus years or 20 plus years of handling the most difficult human resources, your own family. So, that made that, kind of the starting point to, owning up my story, and, uh, kind of believing in myself and coming out of that imposter syndrome. So that having a good mentor makes a huge difference. And without that, I would not have kind of and in fact, you won't believe, after the lockdown hit, and the whole HR outsourcing business took a back, was hit badly. It was a mentor, it was my boss, who only encouraged me to start on my own. How many of the bosses would actually care? And he's there in every step of the way, to guide me and help me. So guys, if you are stuck anywhere at the crossroads, reach out for a mentor. That's the best thing to do, if I would have to put it. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And see, a mentor is also a guide. A mentor is also someone who actually understands you, holds your hand, and walks with you, inspires you, motivates you, and makes you reach that point. And as you rightly said, that, having the right mentor is very, very important. And I'm so
Yeah.
glad that, he told you that it's not easy to manage a house. And absolutely, as he said, it's humongous responsibility. And no matter if a homemaker is educated, non-educated, if she's understanding anything or not, you would always find that she's precise, pristine, and perfect in her task. You can never find a mistake in her task. She would never come and tell you, oops, I cannot serve you food because there's no atta in the house. Oops, we don't have gas in the house. She's always up with an answer. She's always up with solutions. She's always up smiling. I mean, imagine any homemaker sitting sad. No, I'm not in the mood today. No, you never find her. I mean, so kudos to you and kudos to your mentor. Of course, that's brilliant. So the learning that you shared with us and the story that you shared with us is really amazing. The learning itself is so cool, that you have to have that focused mindset. You need to have a mentor, and finally you need to take that step forward to get through that crossroad. Because no matter how many mentors you would have, but Shweta, if you wouldn't have taken that step forward, nothing would have happened. So absolutely, kudos. Very well
I
said.
guess, I guess,
Moving on to the
universe
next point, and
conspires. Sorry, I interjected, I guess.
absolutely, it does. No, 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 no. Absolutely fine. It's your show. So
Okay.
yes, universe interjects, and universe has everything in abundance. Everything in abundance. Great. So now, moving on to the next point. What is your favorite chapter from the book At the Crossroads of Life?
Very hard to choose. But one thing before I even discuss about the chapter, I would definitely like to meet your mother someday in person, because I am in awe with your mother now after reading the book. She's amazing. Because in the small things that you do in life, a look, a hug, concern makes a huge difference. And it's, we moms especially live a very understated life, but they have the huge contribution to their kids life. And uh, one thing that I liked about in your first chapter, which is like, I still am getting goosebumps as I talk about it, about the flood and the catastrophe that you guys faced. If I have to talk in today's parlance, Sagar, she was right. It, the joy of you guys alive and well, there's nothing bigger than that. Everything else can be put together. So when we look at,
Yes.
people going through in today's times, losing their loved ones in just few hours, which is irreparable. No matter whatever you do, you can't, replace that. So yeah, your mom was right that, if you guys were hale and hearty and were together, everything else can fall in place, and which has, but my favorite chapter was, you know the taking the wing chapter, because what I liked about it was, apart from you coming from such a humble background, facing that catastrophe, and going back to the, starting from scratch again, and still having the courage to dream about going abroad and studying. So that foresightedness, that dream that you can actually, for a person, that if I put myself into your shoes, I perhaps could not have imagined even, something like that. At the most, I could have imagined, studying further and stuff like that, or chosen the most easiest option available, but something like that I would not have ever dreamt of. So hats off to you, because it's not about just going there. It's, you knew that going there was the end part. The reaching their journey is going to be far more difficult. And
Yeah.
you're betting on yourself, and you're convincing others to bet on you. So that was really, that was something, which, because that kind of self confidence is, I wish I had at that age, when when you were facing that challenge. I if I look back and I recollect myself in 2008, 7, 5, I don't think I had that kind of self confidence in me at that point in time. And that is amazing. That is really amazing, because it's not that, you know if you're from a humble background, it's criminal to actually aspire for something which is really big in your context. You can. And but there are more and many success stories around it. But what I loved about you was, somebody who has actually recently faced something and still want to go ahead, uh, using that setback in your life as your push factor, that I have to build a home for my parents and I have to go and do this. And I know for sure in person also you're very meticulous, and what all things. So I could relate to everything that was written in the book, and the authenticity of your story, uh, and the way you've narrated is very nice. I know more about you through the book than I
So,
know you otherwise.
yeah. So thank you, Shweta, for that amazing feedback. And just for you, my mom was actually in the other room doing something else, but I've pulled her. She was not prepared for the show, but because it's
Oh wow.
conversation at the crossroads, and I know you in person, so yeah. Uh, so that's my mom for everyone who is listening on the show. Shweta, this is only for you that
Thank you so
because
much.
you brought it up. You can have, yeah, so you can have them.
Hello, how are you, my dear?
बहुत अच्छी हूँ, आप कैसे हो? आप बहुत इंस्पायरिंग हो।
बढ़िया बढ़िया।
मैं बड़ौदा आऊंगी तो आपसे पर्सनली जरूर मिलूंगी।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल आ जाइए, बिल्कुल एंजॉय
आपका
करोगे आप
आशीर्वाद
हमारे
रहा
घर
तो
पे।
आपके जैसे, हाँ नहीं, आपका आशीर्वाद रहा वो तो मानसी है, एंजॉय तो मैं करूंगी ही, बट आपसे अलग से मिलना था मुझे कि आपका हाथ सर पे आ जाएगा तो थोड़ा और इंस्पिरेशन मिल जाएगा, some
थैंक
good
यू
stuff.
थैंक
Amazing year. I read the Sagar's book, और बहुत बहुत अच्छा लगा, बहुत अच्छा लगा, और मैं
यू
चाहती
माय
हूँ
डियर।
कि आप इससे भी बहुत बड़ा बड़ा सक्सेस देखें अपनी लाइफ में अपने बच्चों के थ्रू. That's my wish.
So for everyone, this is my powerhouse, and she has been the power behind me. And Shweta, because you pointed it out, I said let me pull her in. She was not
Thank you
prepared,
so
but
much.
yeah, pulled her in, and God will go. Yep.
I was busy with grandkids. They were doing something online.
But thank you. Yes, Shweta. So I think yeah, that's the spontaneity, and that's what I love. That when you're having conversations, it's better to be open. And I just thought of bringing her in.
Thank you. That was so
Great.
lovely.
So thank you
I
very much. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought it's nice to have that connection because you would definitely love to see her. So thank you very much, and thank you for sharing all that with us. And as Shweta said, it's always important that you have self confidence, self motivation, and gratitude, because it's only your self confidence, your self motivation that will make the difference. Nobody would be confident or trust you if you don't trust yourself. Nobody
Yeah.
would be even able to take that motivation on you and motivate you if you don't motivate yourself. So trust yourself, have self confidence, and have gratitude for everyone who has been supporting you directly or indirectly. So, Shweta, any parting comments, any parting words before we get to the end of the show?
So my urge to all the listeners here is, from my own experience, I'm saying it's not uh, um, it's not what you are that is stopping you. It's what you think you are not that is stopping you. So stop thinking what you are not and focus on what you are. So strengthen your strengths and manage your weakness, and you will get through.
Yep, well said, well said. So, if anyone who is stopping anything that you want to do, it's you.
It's
Well said, Shweta. And if people would love to connect to Shweta, you can find her on LinkedIn, Facebook, and she's all over LinkedIn. You can just type Shweta Ojha and you'll find her. If you want to get yourself into personal branding and consulting, and also if you're looking at building a career or a personal brand, if you're a trainer, speaker, coach, you know where to reach. Thank you, Shweta. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much for coming on this show, and it was a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you for
as a
having me. Wishing you all the success.
Thank you. So, as a custom, Shweta, with every guest, I pass on this message that today the times are uncertain and we are all at some or the other crossroads in life. So, there's a lot of strength in collective prayers. All I request everyone is in the evening, sit with your family for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you think. Say a prayer in your own language, in your own culture, the way you want, and just let it go in the universe. Pass it to the people who need it because collective prayers have a lot of strength. They have a
Yeah.
lot of energy to change and heal the world. So please do collective prayers with your family and friends. I think that is the least we can do apart
Yeah.
from what frontline workers are doing. So please do collective prayers and thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Shweta. I hope you had a lot of fun today talking to my mom for the first time on internet. She was first time live on internet. So thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.